Before I start today's video, once again, I am promoting the election night stream, which is happening tomorrow. This is the last video you will hear me talk about this election night stream. Of course, this is the second video of the day, and yeah. As a reminder, tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, May 3rd is tomorrow, the election night stream will begin. Of course, in the description down below, there'll be a link to the stream. Click that link and you'll be sent to the stream. Click that remind button on the stream so it lets you know, hey, when am I starting? Because I may start a minute earlier. I may start a minute later. Who knows? But it gives you a reminder if I'm starting or not. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy this two-part video I just made. This is the last prediction for the Ohio primary, and I hope everybody enjoys this video.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve.
Well, folks, we are here with the very last prediction before the Ohio Senate primary. I know, I made two videos today. I'm surprised also, but I wanted to cut out all the, the House races and stuff into its own separate video, which I posted earlier. Again, go watch that video first. But this is it, folks. The election, I guess you could say the final prediction, or last analysis, whatever, before the election night stream, which is happening tomorrow. And this is a very interesting primary, all right? Now, before we get into the analysis stuff, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash like down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And yeah, reminder, the stream link will be in the description down below. Click it, and yeah, you do the rest. So, let's get right into it, folks. This is it. The very final Senate primary analysis in Ohio. And I gotta say one thing, this has been a journey. I mean, this started, I think, May 1st? I think it was May 1st of 2021. I've been making videos on this, essentially primary. Essentially once or twice a month, I've been making a video. As of late, it's been the main meat and potatoes of the channel. And this is gonna be a very interesting election night. And before we get into the other analysis, I wanted to say that Trafalgar has finally released their polls after a kind of a meme of like, oh yeah, the toilet's flooded, so we couldn't release the poll. They finally released the damn poll. Thank you. And it shows Vance has surged. He's in first place, winning by 4 points. But that's not the surprise of the poll. Look who's in second. Matt frickin' Dolan. Are you serious with this? Now, if you don't know, Matt Dolan was in 4th place in the last poll, I believe. Yeah, so he's went from 4th to 2nd in under like 2 weeks. If you don't know who Matt Dolan is, he is the worst candidate on this page. He's pro-abortion, he's pro-choice. His family's the reason that the Indians changed their name. It's a clown show. And point being is he's the worst candidate. He's supposedly at 22%. But just like the video I made a couple days ago, I'm having a hard time believing these numbers. Exactly. And I'll get to, reasoning a little bit. Before we get into that, we gotta look at the, other polls. And they show a clear trend. Vance is surging, Mandel stagnated, Gibbons has collapsed, and Matt Dolan, of all people, has surged. Look, there's something going on here with these polls. So I'm not saying, Trafalgar faked it. I don't think Emerson faked it. There's just something very odd with this surge. And I may have figured out what's going on here, right? I did some data, looked at some exit poll data, all that good stuff, because something just did not smell right. Like, Dolan goes from, 12% to 22%, in 2 weeks after Trump endorsed Vance. People are saying Democrats are going to vote in the primary. Sure, that may happen, but that's not causing this surge. And I do think I've solved the issue. I solved the mysterious question mark. This, scroll down to this poll, and they don't do education participation in this poll. Very sad. But look at this. Ethnicity participation, 88.5% white. Which, okay, compared to, the 2016 primary, that may be a bit too less white, all right? In 2016, you go here, and you scroll down here, right here. The electorate was 94% white in the Ohio primary back in 2016. So you could say, okay, maybe that's the big issue. But then I kept digging. This is not the problem with these polls. Why I think they're going to be wrong in many circumstances. There's some bigger issues going on here. You scroll down just one more page. Gender participation. This is when I realized something's up with this poll. All right, these polls. They're missing a group of voters 100%. Look at this. They have the electorate as 52% female, 48% male. Now, if you don't know, 2020 Ohio, you go to the gender demographics, right? Ohio was 53% female in 2016 or 2020. You're telling me a Republican primary, it doesn't get much more male. Yeah, I'm having a hard time believing that. You're seeing my I guess you could say my issue with these polls. And you go back to the 2016 poll, and you scroll up here, it was 49% female. So somehow, the electorate got more female, less male? That is a hard thing to believe in. But also, this is a huge difference. I mean, sure, it's like, oh, it went from, females being only 52% to 49%. What's the big deal? This is the big deal. You go to gender, all right? This is the reason that these polls are, they're going to have a big miss. This here, education by gender among white voters. All right, so we'll just ignore the gender part. This is just a fact. Graduate women vote significantly more Democrat, vote for more quote-unquote centrist people than do men. And look at this. 56% of white college graduate women voted for Biden. Compare that to men. 47% in Ohio. You see why they're oversampling women can have a huge effect on this poll. Absolutely massive. Because you're getting a less favorable, elector to people like J.D. Vance, whose base is in Appalachia, is in northeastern Ohio. We'll get to that in a little bit. These are more college-educated voters, and they're less male. Now, you may say, oh, but 2016, you go right here, and it only shows 17% or high score or less. That means your numbers are debunked. Again, here's the problem. In 2016 was the last year of kind of the Romney-Bush coalition. Don't know what that is? Fairly college-educated, fairly suburban. You know what's changed since 2016? Donald fucking Trump. And look at this. This here proves my point. This is the change in primary vote share by county in 2016 to 2020. Look what parts of the state became, higher vote share. The working class, quote-unquote, less educated parts of the state, the ones that don't have a college education, they voted more in 2020 than they did in 2016. Significantly more. So this is the problem that these polls are having that may explain some of Dolan's surge. That, hey, they're getting more of the Columbus type of voter. They're missing out on the Appalachian type of voter. This is why I firmly think that the Ohio polls are going to have a huge miss in some circumstances. I don't think Trafalgar will be that wrong. I just think some of these other polls, yeah, they're going to be off by a little bit. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. This is something I haven't tried before, but let's try it. So this is a county map of Ohio, and I did something, some research, and look at this. I can draw on it. Whee! All right, but for real, this is what I'm talking about, all right? So let's just, the blue. The blue is traditionally where, the Republican vote share in primaries came from. You see the problem, all right? They're getting most of their their primary pollsters, whatever you want to call them, the likely voters from the blue areas. This is fine if this was 10 years ago. Most of the votes still do come from these areas. The problem? This isn't the same Republican Party. They're mostly calling voters in the Cuyahoga area, which is Cleveland, the Columbus area, which is, Columbus, the Cincinnati area, which again, Cincinnati has become more Republican, slightly the suburbs, or the suburban counties, whatever you want to call them. However, Cincinnati itself has become more Democrat, less friendly to the Republicans. And this is the problem. They are ignoring this part of the state here. This is the part of the state these pollsters are missing completely. They're missing the places in black. This is what explains, this Matt Dolan surge, but JD Vance barely gaining. Sure, Vance is, Dolan surging in the suburbs because they're trying to find a candidate that's never Trumper, that's close enough. And that's why, Dolan's surging while Vance is kind of stagnating. If you were to pull the areas in black, all right, Vance would be at least at 33% in my opinion, easily. It's just these pollsters are missing that black area, and they're oversampling voters in the blue areas, which again, it helps, Vance and Cincinnati, but they're not pulling enough there. They're pulling mostly in the Cincinnati or Columbus and Cleveland areas. That is why you're seeing this very weird surge for Matt Dolan. Again, I'm not, debating if he's surging or not. I'm just saying that most of the surge is coming in traditional Republican areas. That doesn't account for new Republican voters, Appalachian voters, etc. Now, before we get to the final prediction, we're going back to I guess you could say the whiteboard. I think that's what you call this. We're going to have to look at where each of the three main candidates have to do well in to win this race. We, of course, have JD Vance, Josh Mandel, and Matt Dolan. I cannot believe he, surged randomly. But even, no matter what you say, those are the three main candidates. So, for, I guess you could say Dolan to have a serious chance, the biggest thing he needs to do good in this part of the state here, the Columbus area. There's a lot of Democrats in this area that are probably going to vote in the primary. Not as much as, people are saying, but there is going to be a decent chunk that will. They're going to vote for Matt Dolan. If Dolan gets like 60% of the vote in the, Franklin and Delaware counties, he has a serious shot. But if he doesn't, this race, he's done. He has no chance of winning. He also, at the same time, has to do good in Cuyahoga. This is Cleveland. He has a state senate district in Cuyahoga County. He needs to do good in these two areas. If he doesn't, well, shit out of luck, you're done. Goodbye. You have no chance. So that is two parts of the state that, Matt Dolan has to do good in. He has to get nearly perfect numbers in those two parts of the states to have any chance. Now, as for Josh Mandel, for him to have a serious shot, he has to do good in the collar counties of Cleveland. See here, these are the counties surrounding Cleveland. He has to have good numbers in. He's not going to get enough votes from the Cincinnati area. That's where Vance is from. He has to get a lot of votes from this part of the state. And I want to make this a little bit cleaner so you can see what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. These are the counties that he needs to do basically perfect in, just like Matt Dolan. He has to do perfect in the collar counties. If he doesn't, he's screwed. He has no chance of winning. So again, this is going to be part of the state that Mandel will get a big chunk of its votes from. And he'll probably get a couple of these counties here. Not all of them, but he'll probably win a few of them. This was a good part for him in 2012. Now for Vance, the way he has to win is simple. He has a very simple pathway. Just do good this part of the state. And do good in, this part of the state. And this part. These are the three parts of state. If he does, halfway decent in, all right, he wins. If he gets good turnout in Cincinnati, this race is over. If he gets ridiculous margins in Appalachia, this race is over. If he gets good margins in northeastern Ohio, like wins all those counties, this race is over. So as you can tell, Vance has more pathways to the Senate, right? Matt Dolan has to be perfect. And Josh Mandel, he does have to be perfect, but he needs a lot to go his way. So as you can see, yeah, these are the parts of state that everybody should focus on, all right? The Columbus area, Cincinnati area, Cleveland area, and Appalachia. That's the 4 parts of state that will determine who's the next senator. Now it's time for everybody's favorite part of the video, the predictions. Now let's go back to the main thing here, right here. So as everybody knows, the polling has showing Vance up by 4 or 5 points, roughly. The same time, they're showing Matt Dolan surging. And you know what I just said about all those data points about, electorates, demographics, whatever, that they're missing a part of the primary, I guess, the electorate, whatever. Here's the thing, though. There's a chance these polls are correct. The issue is these polls have not given region data. That's why I'm like, I don't know. So I made 2 separate predictions. I know, I don't like to do it, but I have 2 separate predictions because there's a chance that my theory is wrong. And I want to cover my bases, right? Again, I have 2 predictions. One's if the polls are, polling Appalachia, right? Like these polls are getting the right sample in Appalachia. Then I have my true prediction. So let's go to I guess you could say my secondary prediction. This here, folks, is my current prediction, or the secondary prediction in Ohio. I have J.D. Vance at 30.5% of the vote, Matt Dolan at 25.5%, Josh Mandel just below 24%, Gibbons just below 14%, all the other schleps around 6%. This is if the polls that we're seeing are accurately polling Appalachia, northeastern Ohio, all right? This is not my final prediction. This is just, if X happens, like Appalachia, is polled correctly, and like these polls are accurate. This is my prediction, right? Now it's time for my true prediction. This is what everybody's been waiting for. Here it is, folks. And there we go. J.D. Vance, I project, will get around 35% of the vote. I project Josh Mandel will get around 26%. I know he gets a bit of a bump from the secondary prediction. Mandel will have a better night than Matt Dolan if Appalachia is not polled correctly. Mandel will get some votes in Appalachia. Dolan will get nothing. So that's why Mandel does get a bit of a boost. Mike Gibbons pretty much stays the same. And I think, the other candidates, I think a big chunk of their voters, goes from 6% to 5%. I think 1% of the electorate, or the other voters, they jump ship to other candidates because they think, okay, we're not wasting our vote on Jane Timken or that Patel guy. So, yeah, this is my final prediction for the Ohio Senate race, all right? This has been a long series, I guess you could say, a very long video. And, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, reminder, tomorrow is the election night stream at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, May 3rd, which is tomorrow. Hope everybody tunes in, share with your friends. First link description down below will take you to the stream. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.